Okay, so now it's time for creditors, the people that we owe money to, and the people that are constantly phoning us to pay them, and we haven't received the money from clients as of yet. So, creditors, what is our biggest risk? Our risk is that as we report on a monthly basis, which we do in this group of companies, and I find it very critical that we do report and we make sure that our creditors are complete every single month so that we can gauge profitability, which we'll get to on point number 7 here. But the biggest risk for me is making sure that our creditors are complete at all times. So my head of creditors actually performs creditors recons across all companies, across all creditors every single month, ensuring that all invoices are captured, any queries are resolved, any debit notes that are due to us are processed, that client is happy with where we are and that the relationship is good and still ongoing, and that we are paying them on time. So we obviously break it up into production creditors and operational creditors. Our production creditors is very much defined by the system from a Chase perspective, which I'll get to in the next point. But from an operational standpoint, we've got various ways of paying costs, depending on the nature of the expense. So we have got debit orders, for example, security or alarms. Then we've got our normal rentals, etc. We've got entertainment, we've got credit card usage, and we've got petty cash. So my team know the standard operational expenses that come through on a monthly basis. And what they need to do is ensure that those costs are captured and are paid every single month as they should. Debit orders always seem to be a little bit tricky because it immediately comes off our account. You've got security systems that don't think that they need to send us invoices as they should, so that the smaller ones often become the tricky ones, but regardless, our team are totally across it. So I suppose the biggest thing from a creditor's perspective is making sure that the invoice is captured in the month that it is due, and that there is a purchase order attached to that invoice, and that the purchase order is approved, and that the supplier is paid in a timely manner. The one thing I would like to highlight as a caution is often with production invoices, the supplier will often raise an invoice before they actually receive a purchase order from us. If they are looking at closing their books for the month, if they're looking at delivering a specific target, etc., they might often be a little bit cheeky and raise an invoice without us actually having received a purchase order. And often we'll receive an invoice, and in the process of reconciling, we'll realize that we actually haven't raised this purchase order and perhaps not even opened the job as of yet. So there are a lot of instances where our creditors person actually goes back to the supplier and says, you haven't received the purchase order, it actually hasn't been approved from our side, please credit us and re-invoice us when you receive the purchase order. And that just takes a lot of discipline, and it becomes quite a mechanical task on our side. And it's really critical because ultimately your costs and your revenue needs to match every single month to allow us to be able to see what our real profitability is. And it's only through profitability that we can actually make decisions around the business, where we're making money, looking at the areas that we're not making money, looking at accounts that we're not making money, and we can only do that through a complete set of accounts.